set up. All
Thanks. Thanks, Teddy. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're so happy to have you here, and I'm so delighted to be here with Karen. I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. Where I'd like to start is to have a conversation with Karen about her experience within the program and also her experience as a coach since the program. So you get an idea from someone who's actually been through the program, what it's like, and also what the profession of coaching is like once you finish the program. Then after we complete our conversation, I'm going to give you a little bit more in-depth view of the program and also of what the potential is in the coaching industry once you complete the program. So that's what we're going to do for about the next 20 to 25 minutes. As we go along and talk, if you have any questions for either of us, please put them in the Q&A and we will get to those at the end, as Teddy said. So Karen, welcome. Great to see you again.
Thanks.
Just for information for the class, for the group, tell the group when you started the program and when you completed the program.
Yeah, so I started the program in 2019 and finished late last year, early this year. So it was about a 2-year process for me.
And the reason it was a 2-year process is once you finish classes, which take 11 months, we give students about a year to take their final exam. And you took that year, continued to develop your coaching skills and did a really great job on your final exam. And so I just want to make sure that that is correct from your standpoint as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I really did need that time to build out practical hours and, refine the art of coaching and submit my exam. So I felt like it was a really good balance.
Terrific. I'm curious about what brought you to coaching into the program.
Yeah, so I have had an executive coach in the past. I am a working mom, and when I came back from maternity leave, I had, a question to myself: should I continue in my current career, or what does life and career look like after that? So I did get an executive coach, and it was a wonderful experience for me. As I have 25 years of career corporate experience now, I'm always looking ahead. And so what brought me to coaching was trying to create new skills for my own leadership development, but then also get a new skill that I can carry 25, 30, 40 more years and beyond. I'm the type that probably won't fully retire. And I found that coaching is something that I can do with, a full-time career and as a next career.
So I think the next question I'd love to ask you is, what do you like best about being a coach?
I love watching people grow. So I'm high on altruism and helping others. And there's just something about seeing a person have something that resonates with them and shifting behavior and seeing the success and just having full confidence that they have all the answers and I'm just there to help. So I just love the connection.
Terrific. I'm going to come back to that, so circle back to that in a minute. But I'd like to ask you a little bit about what your experience was in the program, what you found to be the things about it that really you liked. And please also feel free to say if there's anything that challenged you.
Yeah, so I grew up in South Florida, so I've always been a fan, but I did do my research and looked at a number of programs. I researched accredited programs through the International Coaching Federation website, which if you do this program and you decide to get your credential, it's through the International Coach Federation. I looked at other schools. I won't mention those names, but I really wanted to go to a college-based program. And I wanted to make sure it was an accredited program, and I wanted to make sure that I would learn what I needed to learn to be able to also get my credential if I wanted it. And that's kind of checked all those boxes. Plus, I knew, from growing up in South Florida that there would be an element of diversity as well. And it from I'm not even in Miami, and it was very convenient from a multi-channel perspective. So being able to do some in person that was manageable, as well as some virtual and remote learning as well.
Yeah, you had the fortunate experience of starting before COVID.
Yeah.
Back when we were in person and virtual. This group will all be virtual, which is the way you ended up with, because I believe your last 2 in-person weekends actually ended up being virtual rather than in person.
Yeah, and even virtually, one of the big benefits is I was in a cohort of other people going through the program, and to this day, we're still in touch. Even though we were part virtual, we formed a lot of personal connections and friendships as well.
Tell me a little bit about how you found the materials, the faculty, the studying, and the workload.
Yeah, so I am background context. I'm a working mom. I have 2 6-year-olds. They're twins. Um, and I'm very involved in the community. And I did the program at the same time. The program I'm not going to say it's a walk in the park. It's challenging, but it's fair. There's a good, all the expectations are laid out ahead of time. For me, I was able to kind of prioritize. I probably only missed one class, and that class was recorded. So I was able to make up my work by watching the class and writing a little bit about it. So, if I had to sum it up, I would say it's challenging, but it's manageable and fair. It's really clear what your assignments are. The materials are excellent. I still keep my notebook is right there. I still keep my notebook with me as reference material. So that's what I would say. I can't really think of much that I didn't like. I think it's hard to understand the entire credentialing process when you're really, really new. And so I would just say anyone going into the program, determine whether or not, as you go through, if you also want to do the credentialing process so that you understand that, because I don't think I understood all of that ahead of time.
In terms of how what the program has given you, I have 2 questions. The first is, what do you think is the most important thing you learned about coaching in the program? And the second is, what is the most important thing you grew in yourself through the program?
Yeah. So what I learned about coaching is what coaching is and what coaching is not. So I think I had some perspective, as a person with 25 years of corporate experience. I've got a degree in psychology. I've got a master's degree in business. And so I had some idea of what coaching is and isn't, but I think that, and the way that teaches is truly the gold standard. If you decide to be a coach, like, you'll go out there, you could go on Instagram today and see hundreds of people that call themselves coaches, but there is a true difference and standard in coaching, and I think taught me that. What did I learn about myself? A lot. It is a very introspective process. And for me, I learned a lot about my strengths and opportunities. Things like my ability to listen and see things maybe as patterns that other people might not see in themselves. And then on the other hand, sometimes the ability to lead or not lead when coaching. So there was a lot that I learned.
My last question for you really has to deal with the your post coaching career in coaching, your post coaching program career. You have an interesting path because you started out by building a private coaching practice, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about the idea of building a private practice, and then you've now, through a process that you had to essentially audition, have taken a position as an internal coach within your company. So I'd like you to talk about both the external and the internal, if you would, just to give people an idea of kind of what the coaching profession looks like from an on-the-ground coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's important to have a little context. Um, while I have some HR experience, my entire career has been what we call on the business side. So I've done business transformation as a transformation executive. In financial services, I've led in operations and anti-money laundering. And I knew after going through the program that I really wanted to make a career shift. I think, coaching kind of speaks to my soul, but it also speaks to my strengths, and some of the sweet spots that the career has to offer. So I started a practice while I was in the program, initially to get hours, but then I was able to get clients through mainly referrals, some through social media, and build private practice. And I was at the point where I was really considering and actually building an exit strategy from corporate America to either do coaching, with a large consulting firm or continue my private practice. When an opportunity came up at Bank of America, they're building a brand new coaching practice. I had to go through a very rigorous interview process, including coaching my new boss. And I was selected 1 out of 13 applicants. And what really stood out, the feedback that I got was my coaching style and presence. And we've now started the practice, and it turns out I'm actually the only one of 5 coaches, in this organization that already has a credential. And so I really believe that this program prepared me for that. I think some of the others that are now on the coaching team, they've got 20 years of HR experience. And I've got, this certification, my credential, and I bring the business experience as well to the table, which is a great balance.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your story with us and for being in this conversation with me. I'm going to switch gears a little bit so that I can talk about what the program is like, and give everyone a pretty good overview of what you're signing up for, and also a little bit about what the profession of coaching is like. So this program is 143 hours long, over 11 months. It has 2 nights a week that you will be meeting, and each month you'll be doing about 12 hours, credit hours of work. And I say credit hours, but this is a certificate program. It is not university credit. There are also 3 major in-person weekends. And in between the 2 nights of classes, so 3 hours a week of classes, you'll also be working with a partner practicing. You'll also be doing homework. So in essence, the program in an average week takes somewhere between 4.5 to 5 hours of work. And I want to say that very clearly because this is a university level graduate program and it requires a university level graduate commitment. We go very deep into coaching skills and we're really proud of that. We're really proud, as Karen described, of the quality and depth of the program. And we're really proud of the fact that when our students graduate, they are coaches. They are coaches. And so you can plan as you come into this program that there's some significant work attached to the program, but at the end, there's a significant reward as well. The next thing I want to say is that we teach coaching according to the International Coach Federation core competencies and definition of coaching. Now, there are lots of definitions of coaching in the world, but one of the transitions that a lot of people go through when they come into the program is they've been involved with coaching that is people telling people what to do. And that's not this coaching. According to the International Coach Federation and why I love coaching, coaching is the process of emerging solutions from the coachee. So the way I describe it is that as a coach, my job is to emerge and witness the greatness of others. And if I've done my job well, they've become a great self-coach for themselves. And so our program is not about teaching you how to tell people to do things. Our program is about taking you through the process by which you emerge greatness from others, and you help people discover strengths in themselves they may never have known, or if they know them, how to use them more powerfully, how to design their lives, their work, their teams, their businesses in new and dynamic ways that they create for themselves. So the key creator in the coaching process is the coachee. It's not the coach. And I want to say that out loud as well, because it's a significant difference than a consulting orientation or a therapy orientation, or my background is I was a lawyer for 11 years before I became a coach, or a expert to someone who is not an expert orientation. In this particular profession, the coachee is the expert in themselves and in what they seek to create. It's a very powerful self-developmental process. It can be used both with individuals and with teams, and it can be used for almost any issue or goal or outcome that someone seeks to create. And just as an example, right now in my practice, I have the CEO of a Fortune 500 company who is doing strategic planning for 5 to 10 years out on how AI, artificial intelligence, will change his company. I also have a feng shui practitioner in London who is building her business. And I also have in my pro bono work, a woman who is moving from welfare to work. And all of those people I can coach because what I'm an expert in is emerging the greatness of others. One of the delightful things about my career as a coach is I've also seen the coaching profession grow. I started in late 1993 when no one knew what this type of coaching was. And if you said that you were a coach, people asked what sport you were coaching. We had not at that time been written up in the Harvard Business Review or the New York Times or the London Times. We were not known as a worldwide profession. And within the International Coach Federation, there were about 200 members. Now there are over 40,000 members worldwide. There are now over 10,000 credentialed coaches worldwide. It is recognized within businesses and also within cultures as a powerful tool for developing oneself and for developing others. And it's this this exponential growth, it really has been exponential growth in the profession, has now also yielded so many ways to use these skills. In this particular course that we teach, we have people come in who want to be professional coaches. And they either want to build a private practice like mine, which currently stretches into 13 countries and 16 different professions, or they want to be an internal coach like Karen is becoming, where they will be within an organization and working as a coach for that organization and that organization alone. They also may end up working for a company as a part of a panel of coaches. And usually in that circumstance, you also have a private practice of your own. So there are many ways you can use these skills. We also get a number of people into the program who don't want to be professional coaches, but they want to take the coaching skill set into their current profession. And to give you a couple examples of that, in our current cohort that just finished, we have a practicing psychiatrist who is associated with one of the major hospitals, well-known hospital in Ohio. He wanted to bring these skills into his psychiatric practice, but he also wants, in his role as a teacher of up-and-coming medical students, to be able to use these skills with them. We have a really lovely gentleman who was a university professor and who is now retiring and is going to move into coaching as a full-time profession. We have a young woman in the class who's just starting her career, and she happens to be in HR, and she wants to, from the very beginning, use coaching skills as part of her HR skill set. We also have in our current cohort a woman who is moving from being a stay-at-home mom back into the workforce, and her dream is to become a coach. So the number of different types of opportunity that sit out there, and the variety of people that can take advantage of becoming a coach and really building precisely what they want within the coaching profession is really quite remarkable. The other thing I do want to say about our course, which Karen mentioned, was that we have a very diverse student body. We have a student body from all over the world. Our last cohort had 3 people from Europe in it, and they were attending classes from 1 a.m. to 2:30 in the morning, and they never missed a class. That's, for me, just such a level of dedication that I so admire. But I also think it speaks to the quality of the program, that people are willing to be in class at that hour. So we had 3 people from Europe. We had 2 people from South America. We've had people from the Far East. We had a student not so long ago from Thailand. We have a very diverse cultural, US cultural base as well. It's one of the things that we're really committed to at the University of Miami in every sense of the word. And it's one of the things I'm proudest of at the University of Miami is we are a program that probably is either the #1 or #2 country program in the country in terms of creating coaches of color. And I just really am so proud of the fact that long before the conversation started, that was the orientation of this program. I also want to say that the program is a welcoming program. Our faculty are all master certified coaches. They're all great coaches, some of the most successful coaches in the world. They are great instructors of coaching. They are great evaluators of coaching. And the most important thing to me is that they are absolutely dedicated to our students. They go the extra mile every day. And I'm just delighted to have them as colleagues and team members. And I think one of the things our students will generally tell you is that our faculty are not only the best at what they teach, but also the best at who they be and how they relate to students. And so this program we will work with you every step of the way if you're struggling, and we will also help you fly on when you are really have found your wings and are ready to take flight. And I think that's also a mark of how we operate at the University of Miami in this program. The last thing I want to say about the program, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Teddy, is that this is not a minimalist undertaking. I think if you talk to Karen or most of the people who went through our program, that they not only think of it as a transformation of career and skill set, but most people who go through this program also have some internal transformation for themselves. In fact, this morning I was on the phone with a student who said what the program taught him was how to slow down in order to go deep, not only with his clients, but with himself. And that it had tremendously improved his relationship with his wife and his kids and his relationship with himself. So when you come into this program, I ask that you come fully committed to the journey and what the journey can teach you at multiple levels. And I think those are the important things that I have to say about the program. And so Teddy, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Margaret. And I just want to piggyback off a little bit of what you said there. And it's really that quality that makes a difference, that support. We want to make sure that you're, one, getting your money's worth, but two, really getting the experience that you need to really flourish as a professional coach. So that is really what sets us apart, amongst other things. I will go ahead and share my screen again so that we can just look at the presentation. And this is just kind of recapping a little bit of what Margaret said and Karen as well. And just off the top, this is an accredited coaching training program with the International Coaching Federation. So it is an ACTP course for the ICF at the PCC level, which is the professional certified coach level. It is, again, about a total of 11 months, an intensive program right now, fully through Zoom or through an online platform. And this program does prepare you with skills needed to become an effective coach who assists clients in achieving remarkable results in their career paths or personal lives. Right, this program offers a diverse student body, as you guys have heard. There's people from all walks of life that join, and that community that you build is really key. That's what helps you guys, even outside the program, right? That's what helps you guys bounce ideas or keep moving forward with each other. And this program offers practical experience and opportunities for coaching experience. For those of you that are interested, I do want to remind you our course does start fairly soon. If you are ready to make that commitment, the course itself starts September 18th. Now, just as a brief aside, there are typically about 25 seats, more or less, in these classes. So those seats, once they're filled, registration closes for the semester. So again, if you're interested or on the fence, talk to us. We would be happy to help you in any way. That way you can make that decision. But going back to the course and what you're seeing on the screen, the course itself is offered this September. Again, it's 11 months, so runs September 18th, that's the start date, runs until July 26th. And the tuition is about $6,995, $69.95. And we did get a question earlier, and I hope that Margaret's answer sort of answered it a bit. But the format, again, fully remote for the safety of everybody involved. But there are two essential different formats for time of class. And what I mean is, during the 11 months, you have your traditional class time, which is going to be Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is Eastern American time. So if you're in a different country or different time zone, make sure you calculate the time, make sure you attend those live classes. And that is your regular Tuesday, Thursday weekday classes for the 11 months. Aside from that, you do have your 3 intensive weekends. Well, traditionally it is 3 intensive weekends, where it would be 1 weekend at the beginning, 1 weekend in the middle, 1 weekend at the end of the course. These are traditionally about 9 to 5. It's a little bit shy of that, but about 9 to 5 for Saturday and Sunday. Now, the first 2 days of class, that is your first weekend, the 18th and 19th of September. Again, about 9 to 5 for those 2 days. And then you're going to wait about 5.5 months for that next weekend, and then waiting another more or less 5.5 months for that last weekend. Now, I do, if you see at the bottom, beyond those 3 weekends, because Zoom is very intensive, being on the computer for the entire week can be draining to say the least. We have updated the format to help students out. And Margaret, I don't know if maybe you want to speak a little bit to this and our reasonings or the ideas, but we've softened that those second and third weekends so that instead of being 9 to 5, it's a little bit more digestible. Margaret, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, and actually I realized as you were talking that we actually softened the first weekend as well. So the first weekend, we go for 5 hours each day, and then we have a 2-hour class a little later in the week. We found that once we get past about 6 hours on Zoom, people begin to fade. And it just doesn't create the best learning environment. And we're all about creating great learning environments. So on each of the next 2 weekends, the middle and the final weekend, we spend about 6 hours together with an hour break for lunch and a couple 15-minute breaks. And then we have 2 classes during the week to finish up the time that we would have done if we were in person together. So the idea is really not to wear you all out on Zoom, but to keep you as fresh as possible, and not to overwhelm either the brains or the eyes, because we all know that staring in the Zoom screen for 8 hours can be a little bit tiring for the brain, and most particularly for the eyes. So we're really trying to do this in a way that takes care of all of our students, as well as our faculty too. So both, by staying virtual, but also by making virtual tolerable.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Margaret, for helping clarify that. And I do see some questions in the chat about the format or the schedule. And again, I want to remind everybody that for this 2021 fall semester, it is fully remote or fully online through Zoom. So those are going to be live sessions where you have to log in on your computer or smartphone for both the weekend classes and the weekday classes. All of it's through Zoom. So you have that flexibility to attend from the safety of your home.
And may I add something here, Teddy?
Yeah.
Even though it's virtual, you have to be fully present. So you have to be on camera. You can't be in a car driving somewhere. You think of it as being in a classroom as if you were in person. And I think that's really important to say, because there are sometimes some assumptions that being on Zoom means you can be doing lots of other things. But for these classes, you need to be fully present. And I think Karen would echo this, and Karen, I'm going to ask you to come on and maybe comment on this. It's really critical that you participate in the classes, and you will be called on to coach and be coached. So Karen, can you say a little bit about your view of participation in the classes?
Yeah, I definitely is a big part of the program. And I mean, it goes to experiential learning, right? So if you actually practice, participate, you can learn, coaching better and faster. What I'll also add to that is, it's if you're working now or have any other, if you're living, it's going to help you real time. So you're actually getting real coaching while you're going through the process and getting experience coaching.
Thanks, Karen. One other thing I just say about being fully present, and being in a quiet place where you can be fully present and there's no disturbance coming into the platform, is that coaching is a lot like tennis. And that is, Serena Williams did not learn how to play tennis by reading a book. She learned how to play tennis by getting on the court and practicing. This is not a profession you can learn theoretically. You have to get on the court and practice. And the first place that starts is in class. So back to you, Teddy.
Thank you again. And yeah, I think that helps clarify a few things. And the remote format is meant to replace being in the classroom, but you guys You're paying for this course, you're enrolling, you're here to learn, right? So you want to take as much out of it as you can. But again, thank you, Karen, and thank you, Margaret, for sharing that. And we'll go ahead and move on to the cost of the program. As a reminder, is $69.95, $6,995 for the tuition itself. You typically have three payment options to cover that cost. So what that means is if you have the $69.95, you can pay it full. Basically, it's like shopping online, right? You create an account on our website, you grab the course, you put it in your shopping cart, and you make your payment to secure that seat. There are only about 25, maybe 30 seats per section. We do try to keep it intimate and small on purpose. But again, you can pay in full if you have that ability. We do have an in-house payment plan. I always suggest that. It is a $50 setup fee, but it's not an increased rate. So it is that $69.95 plus that $50 setup fee. And to give you guys an idea of how that breaks down, basically it's 11 payments. It's one deposit, like today, for example, about $18.45 as that deposit. And then each month during the program, it's about $520 each month during the program. That's our payment plan that's in-house. Again, if you guys have questions about these things, just let our staff know. But the third option is that student loan from a private bank or lender, and these can be any bank or lender that you're comfortable with. Margaret?
Yeah, so I just want to add something here that Teddy might not comment on, but it's also one of the reasons I'm so proud to be the lead instructor at the University of Miami. The University of Miami has made a full commitment to make this program available to as many people as possible, and that is reflected in the price and the promissory note option. This is, if you research, by far one of the least expensive ACTP programs in the country. I can tell you there are other university-based programs that charge $14,000 and $16,000 and $20,000, private programs that charge anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. I actually had a conversation with one of the higher ups in the university about the fact that I thought we were priced too low. And the response I got was that we were going to maintain the price so that there was access. And so I want to acknowledge the university for maintaining that standard of making this program accessible. And you probably can't pat yourself on the back, Teddy, but I want to just acknowledge that it's a really significant commitment that the university has made here.
Yeah, and you're so right, Margaret. And as you guys, I always encourage everybody to do research. As you start to look at other programs and other formats, you'll find that not only are we so fairly priced, but our format is completely flexible compared to a lot of other programs out there. So yeah, thank you again for stating that, Margaret. And just going back to the screen again, you guys have three main options now. We do have students that have their employers pay or something like that. There's always outside circumstances. So for those, you guys give us a call. We'll see what we can help you with. If there's anything we can do. But the main options, again, are that full payment, that payment plan where it breaks it down, or the student loan from a private educational loan or bank or lender or something similar to that. And now that being said, we're going to go ahead and go into our Q&A section where we'll go ahead and read through some of the questions you guys have asked. And I do see some of them have rolled in here. Margaret, some of these are going to be for you. So I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to point some of these questions towards you. And really the first one stems from the coaching world. Do you need to be a coach to join this program, or are there any requirements to join this program?
Yeah, so you do not need to be a coach. This is the program to teach you how to be a coach. And so almost everybody who comes into the program is not a coach. We have an occasional someone who thinks they've been coaching for a long time, but they get in the program and they discover that they haven't been coaching. They've been doing something else. But almost everybody in the program is new to coaching. And when I took my program back in 1993, I was new to coaching. So that's actually true throughout the profession when someone comes into a program. In terms of, what was the second part of that question, Teddy?
Are there any requirements needed to join the program?
Yeah, besides a commitment to be in the program and to be a learner, I believe, and Teddy, correct me if I'm wrong, that you have to either have a bachelor's degree, or is it 3 years of experience, of job experience, or is it?
Right, so we require a bachelor's degree, and if you don't have that bachelor's degree, it's actually 5 years of working experience, and you can always share your resume with us, and we can verify if needed. Yep. Awesome. So I have a few questions here about PCC, ICF, certification. So could you maybe speak a little bit about the difference between the certificate in this course and the certification itself?
And I'll try and keep this as simple as I can. So the University of Miami Certified Professional Coach Certificate is a certificate given by The Professional Certified Coach Credential is given by the ICF. And the way I explain it is, when I went through law school, I got my JD from the University of Arizona, but I then had to go get my bar membership and pass the bar with the state of Arizona. The same way that a doctor would get their MD, but they have to sit for national boards. So you get your certificate with us, but the credential from the ICF, which is the largest independent professional body of coaches in the world and the most recognized credential in the world, is a separate credential. There is, however, a relationship between the two. If you have graduated our program, successfully passed our final exam, which is graded at the PCC level, then you meet many of the requirements that will make getting a PCC from the ICF much easier. So you've met all the educational requirements. You've met the testing requirement for the oral exam. You will have to take the ICF's written exam, which is 155 question multiple choice exam. You will also have to have a certain amount of hours, currently 500 actual coaching hours. And we also have, by graduating our program, you also meet the ICF's mentoring requirement. So the two requirements you won't meet by graduating our program are the accumulation of your actual client coaching time and the fact that you will have to take their written exam. Because we are an ACTP, an accredited coach training program, all of the other requirements for getting your PCC are met. You do have to file a separate application with the ICF and attach your certificate from the University of Miami to show that you've met the requirements that I just listed. So by coming through our program, successfully passing our final exam, which is less time consumptive than the ICF's oral exam process, you will actually make your path to the PCC much, much easier.
Amazing and very succinct, and that is a very big answer to that question. Margaret very much cut it down into the smallest bite-sized pieces. But gang, if you do have questions, I do invite you to write down my email, write down my phone number. That way you can reach out to me directly. We can go into much more detail about that. But I mean, Margaret said it very well.
And we go through this multiple times during the program. So by the time you get done with the program, you should understand it. And if you don't, you will just call me and, I walk you through it. So.
Yep. Perfect. And there's just a few other questions here. I know we're going to end just shortly. Most of the materials you need are included within the course, so it's not that you have to worry about that. Margaret, can you speak to clients and coaching hours and how you accumulate coaching hours, or maybe how some students do it?
Yeah, so I want to just say a couple things about most of the materials. So you will have to, in addition to the manual, which we give you, you will have to buy one text, Law and Ethics in Coaching, that you can buy in a Kindle format on Amazon for, I think, about $35. I think the hard copy is $50. We also will require you to hire from an approved list a supervisor for 3 supervision coaching sessions. Those will cost you another probably $700 to $900. That comes at the end of the program. I will tell you that other programs include that, but the problem is that those programs also charge anywhere from $10,000 to $16,000. So it's even with that additional cost, it's still the UM program is still a far less expensive program than other programs. Then in terms of accumulating client hours, that happens 2 ways. One is by building a coaching practice with clients in that practice. And that's the art of building a business. And you will build that business over time. And normally those clients will come to you by referral. I built my practice by doing a lot of speaking engagements. I also did a lot of writing and published a lot of articles. And I also worked my network. And those are typical ways of building a coaching practice. As an internal coach, and many of the folks who come to us are going to coach internally, as long as your coaching is part of your job description, the ICF counts that as coaching hours. So those are the 2 major ways that people acquire hours.
Perfect. And then I'm just going to cover these things off the bat. I know a little bit of these answers. So as far as classes are recorded, if you're not able to attend class, we do have them recorded. I believe we can share them with you. You do need a 70% or higher. Typically, you're going to want higher as far as attendance. Attendance is part of your grade. So keep that in mind. Go ahead.
Actually, I want to correct that, Teddy. So you must attend all 3 weekends. You must. There's no exception to that. In our modules, you have to attend 3 of the 4 classes to get credit for the module. If you attend only 2 classes for the module, then you will have to do makeup assignments to get credit. If you miss 3 classes, you have to make up the entire class in the next cohort. And I will also say that attendance is not part of the grade, but it is part of the requirement. The ICF requires, in order to be an ACTP, that you have to attend not only the 3 weekends, but all but 10 teleclasses. So the maximum you can miss is 10 teleclasses over the course of the 11 months. Otherwise, you won't meet the requirements for the education hours for the ICF.
Perfect. And it's always good to hear it directly from the source, gang. And I do see a lot of questions in the Q&A, and I know we're not going to have enough time. So again, please write down my information. That way you guys can take a look at that, and you guys can reach out to me with those direct questions. I will go ahead and move forward just so you guys can see the rest of the basic information, which is the tuition waiver. Just as a reminder, those that are attending, you do get that 10% waiver. And if you need to reach out, 305-284-4000 or opa@miami.edu. So you can reach out to us directly. Our website, of course, continue.miami.edu/coaching. That is where you can register as well. But we will send a survey after this event, so you can take a look. Margaret, does any last words, anything else you want to add?
Just 2 things. The 3 things, actually. The first is, when you get questions, Teddy, if there's anything I can do to help, maybe we could put together something that we can send out to everybody that, answers those questions. I'm happy to contribute to that. I want to thank Karen for coming and for joining me in conversation and joining us, and thank her again for both her wonderful performance in the program and her support after the program. And also wish her the very best of skill and joy in her new position. And then I just want to thank everyone who attended for attending and showing interest in the program. We truly appreciate it, and we truly look forward to seeing you hopefully in the program.
Thank you all for being here, and we'll send out this information. Like I said, you'll get a recording, but otherwise, if you guys have questions, reach out to me directly. Again, my name is Teddy, 305-284-3049. But with that, I hope everybody has an amazing night. And again, thank you so much for being here. We hope to see you in the class soon.